من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا وحبيبنا أبو القاسم المصطفى محمد.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
وعلى آل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين المنتجبين، لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية علي بن أبي طالب صلوات.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
يقول سبحانه وتعالى في محكم كتابه بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم اللعين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقضى ربك ألا تعبدوا إلا إياه وبالوالدين إحسانا إما يبلغن عندك الكبر أحدهما أو كلاهما ولا تقل لهما أف ولا تنهرهما وقل لهما قولا كريما. وقال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم: أكرموا أولادكم وأحسنوا أحدابهم يغفر لكم. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Firstly, we give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this wonderful opportunity, my respected brothers and sisters, to be here to observe one of the greatest days in Islamic calendar. As you know, as we are here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as we mentioned in the past Jum'ah, that Allah has made it obligatory over each and every servant of His who is capable to go for Hajj, to go and observe those spiritualities. But today's sermon, I want to talk about the importance of a child. More especially, the importance of a girl child. Because, you know, whenever we talk of humanity, humanity always is replaced by the new generation. When you look at us today, as we are sitting here, gathered here, once upon a time we were children, we were born younger. And because of the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we became adults. And as the cycle goes, we also have children. And the same way tomorrow our children are going to be the elderly men and women in our community. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in the basis of the Holy Quran, has attached the significance to a child. Whenever we talk of a child, Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala in the Holy Quran has attached more significance, more especially when it comes to a girl child. That is why our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, having child is a blessing. And more especially, our beloved Prophet mentioned a girl child, that having a female child in your family is a blessing and itself is rizq min Allah. It's a bounty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon you. Because some of us, you know, we have our own choices to say, I prefer to have a male child. And then some of us sometimes we divorce our husbands and wives because we wanted male and they couldn't offer to give us male children. Sometimes, no, we don't know, we don't want male children, but we want female children. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, like as I quoted in the Holy Quran, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Holy Quran, that وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That Allah tabaraka wa ta'ala is telling you and me that He has made it a decree that we shouldn't worship anybody except Him. That is that وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. we have to also be good and kind to our parents. We as the generation, or we as the children of today, we have to be kind to our parents. Do we respect our parents? How do we talk to our parents? How is it that we relate to our parents? Some of us, sometimes because our parents are not Muslims, we end up severing ties between us and our parents. Some of us, because sometimes we want something from our parents and we don't get it the way we want it. And we conclude to say, you know what? Even though me, I'm a Muslim and my parents are not Muslims. So Islam says whoever that is not a Muslim, abstain from it. Allahu Akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells whoever will sever the ties of family, whoever go as far as severing ties, regardless of whether your mother, your father is a Muslim or not. That is why when Allah said in the Holy Quran, He said, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ. He has made it a decree that you don't worship anybody except Him. In other words, even if your parents want you to worship them, Allah has given you the authority not to worship your parents. This is the only instance where Allah Ta'ala has informed you and has given you the go ahead to make sure that if your parents call you to worship them, or whether they call you to worship idols, then you have the right to tell them, no, I am not going to do it. But even with wisdom, not to come arrogantly to tell your father that, no, my dad, I will never worship these idols of yours. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in two instances in the Holy Quran, when He cited you and me, where we can disobey our parents, Allah said, وَإِنْ جَاهَدَاكَ أَن تُشْرِكَ بِمَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ إِلْمٌ فَلَا تُطِعْهُمَا. He said it is only in the instance when your parents tell you that don't worship God Almighty, don't worship me God, go and worship other idols, then there you are given the audacity not to abide by it. Allah said, إِلَيَّ مَرْجُوكُمْ. You and your parents, your return is to me. فَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا كُنْتُمْ تَعْمَلُونَ. Then I will tell you what you used to do when you were in this world. So that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it is only in this instance that Allah gave you and me the order to abide, to disobey our parents. So this clearly tells you and me that there is no way or under no circumstance that you will take a standard in front of your parents and you want to tell your parents that, hey parents, because you are not Muslim, or parents, because you've been doing this and that which is contrary to my religion, or no, parents, because maybe you go to the shibits and all this, you take the audacity to disrespect your mother or your father. Allah concluded in the Holy Quran that He said, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا أَمَّا يَبْلُغَنَّ عِندَكَ الْكِبَرَ. Don't ever imagine because now you are adults, you also have wife and children, so now you are a father, and as a result of that you are big enough to respect your mother and father. No, even if you are an adult with wives and children, still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you your duty as a mother, your duty as a father, that you need to see to it that you respect your mother and father. Then he said, وَلَا تَقُلْ لَهُمَا أُفٍّ. Don't say to your mother and father, no matter how small it is, any naughty word. Don't say naughty words to your parents. Don't, shout and swear at your parents. And don't even say, my mother, I'm tired of you. Or you tend, you pretend as if you're trying to show to your mother and father that you are not happy with them. Allah said in certain verses of the Holy Quran, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهَنًا عَلَى وَهَنٍ, that when your mother was pregnant and she was going through transformations and difficulties. But today you are big enough. And you think because you are a father, you want to disrespect your mom. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَنْهَرْهُمَا وَقُلْ لَهُمَا قَوْلًا كَرِيمًا. Allah is urging you and me that at all points in time when we speak to our parents, we need to be very humble. We need to talk to our parents respectfully. We need to try and see that our parents are at ease and then they are at peace whenever we are together with them. You know how many of us in so many ways we try to think that we are big enough, we are adults. Because today we are working and we are earning salary. So now we are big to take our own decisions. Sometimes you find a child, because today he is working and earning salary, he doesn't even care about his mother or father. Now the issue is for him to say for the mother and father to follow suit. He cannot say no, because no. The criteria is no, I am working, I'm big. I earn money, I earn salary, I have wife and children. I am also independent. Why is it that my mother and father should come and then be disturbing me day in, day out? I'm tired of it. You see, more especially if our constitution says, oh no, once you are 18 and above, you are independent. But we've forgotten that our parents, they were the ones who took care of us. Like as I quoted, our beloved Prophet said, that whenever you have a child, how do you take care of your child? Our beloved Prophet gave us 3 criteria, whereby our mothers and fathers, they took the pain to take care of us for us to be adults as we are today. But today we think we are big enough. We are so clever, because we attended universities and our fathers and mothers, they never went there. We are working in big companies and our fathers and mothers are working in, places where you can't even talk about. We are living in big houses and, behind mountains, and our mothers and fathers are living in shanty houses and shibis. So because of that, today we think we are big enough. So our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is urging you and me as fathers. We have to at all costs respect our parents, regardless of whether we have wives and children or whatever. It is incumbent upon us. We have to at all costs to see to it that whenever we want to talk to our mothers and fathers, it doesn't matter whether today we are equal in size and whatever, or maybe we are so beautiful and handsome more than our parents. So we have that audacity to disregard and disrespect our parents. It doesn't matter whether your father is a Muslim, whether he is not a Muslim, whether he drinks liquor, whether he doesn't drink liquor, whether he does whatever, that is the wealth of all actions. You don't have any right to disrespect your mother. Now the same goes to the parents. When our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says to the parents, that, oh, you parents, make sure that you take good care of your children. Make sure that you educate your children. Make sure that you give guidance, absolute and perfect guidance to your children. Is that when you do that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he was explaining this hadith to his disciples, our beloved Prophet Muhammad said that whenever you have a child, first of all, when you have a child, from the very day the child is going to be conceived, it becomes your responsibility to start thinking about the future of the child. The very same day your wife conceives, not up until the child is born. No! The very day of conceiving, if the Prophet went as far as how do you, in which way do you going to be able to have a good child that will become a good parent. How, in your relation with your wife, if you want to have a child, how do you have your relationship? How do you have your relationship at night? And what are the methods and procedures that you need to put together to be able to have a very good child? That is why our scholars, when you go into the book, they tell us when is it that it is makruh for a man and woman to sleep together. When is it that it's right? What are the things that are needed for a husband and wife to do whenever they are looking for a child? Some of us, we don't think about those things. We are waiting to say, no, me, I'm looking for a girl child. So when the wife comes with a boy child, I say, no, I divorce you, I don't need you anymore. It's like today we are dictated for God to give us what we think is good for ourselves. Our beloved Prophet, when he was explaining this hadith, he said, no, the very first day your wife conceives, there are certain aspects, there are certain training that your wife must go through to be able to have a good child. All of us, we want our children to be our representatives in the near future. If we have degrees, we are expecting our children to have masters. If we have masters, we are expecting our children to have doctorates. The same way, if we have doctorates, we are expecting our children to have, to be professors and beyond. But what are, the practical measures that we are taking to see to it that our children they get to be citizens of the society? Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said that as husband and wife, you make sure that whatever that you do towards you asking Allah for a child, you need to see to it that you put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even at the time when you are having that relationship between you and your wife, you must see to it that you put Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You shouldn't be like our beloved Prophet said. We shouldn't behave like we are big with our wives and husbands. We shouldn't behave, extremely. Some of us sometimes we want to go to all other parts of the world just because we want to persist to think that we are satisfying our desires. Prophet gave us certain, preferences that whenever you are in that situation, there are certain things that Prophet said you shouldn't do it because it is makruh. And it leads to you having a child who is not very smart. A child who sometimes he has certain deformities. A child cannot see, or sometimes you give birth to a child who is blind. But how many of us pay attention to those things? I hope we'll have PQ class where we can explain everything into detail with the regards to it. Anyway, our beloved Prophet said, when you have a child, the first 7 years, I want you to listen to this very carefully. The first 7 years of the birth of the child, you as the parents, your responsibility is to make sure that you feed the child. Give the child what the child deserves. Some of us today, when we give birth to our children, because we want to go to work, the first 3 months we get somebody somewhere, then we'll be giving our child, then we are busy going to work, and we don't even know what is it that is happening to the child. We go and buy the milk of the cow and other things in the pick and place and whatever, and we prepare to give it to our children. And we expect our children in the near future to become good leaders in our communities and society. Today it's a norm. When a woman is working, as soon as she gives birth, she's taking of 3 months' time, I need to start going to work. To go and get a mom and mashallah. And what about the child? No, there is one woman there who is taking care of the child. So when the child is crying or whatever, that woman will take care of the child. This was not the teaching of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So do you want to tell me that the money that you go after is more important than the child? Where is the preference? Where is the priority? We leave our children and then we go to work and we give our children to other people to take care of them. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said a child from the time of his birth up until the child stops breastfeeding is 2 years. It is 24. But how many of us do that? Some of us will breastfeed our children. If we do well, 6 months is fine. The child can eat everything. Even food that the child is not supposed to eat, we start to give it to the child because we want the child to grow quick so that we can go to work. Then you find a child of, 8 months, they start giving the child pap. Food that is not supposed to be given to a child, simply because it's like we don't need the child. We want everything in a hurry so that we will go and do the slavery. We are more into the slavery more than what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. Our beloved Prophet said, for the first 7 years of a child, we should give the child whatever that the child deserves. To make sure that we breastfeed our child after birth for at least 14 months. 14 months. We should see to it that whatever that the child needs, we give the child. We give the child attention. Our beloved Prophet went as far as saying, before you breastfeed your child, go and make ablution. Allahu Akbar. When you breastfeed your child, recite the Quran. If the wife cannot recite, the husband must try. Anytime she gets the opportunity close to the wife, she must recite Quran while the wife is breastfeeding the baby. How many of us do that? The men are busy, they are looking for money, they are looking for material work. The women also, they are in a hurry to drop the child so that they also will go into the material world to go and swim in the world of material. And the child now is left with somebody to take care of. Okay. So if we take care of our children in this way, then where is the best of the Holy Quran? Our beloved Prophet said, we need to make sure that whatever the child needs up until the breastfeeding is done, then after that, we make sure that we keep close eyes to the child. Whatever that is, the need for the child, we give the child up until the age of 7. Then from the age of 7 up until the second 7, up until 14, we give the child the free role to do whatever the child wants to do. Some of us in our houses, a child of 13 years, we want to, offload all the duties of the house for the child to do. We hit the child. We shout on the child. Wow. We will be shouting and shouting and shouting at the age of 9, 10, 11, 12. Our beloved Prophet said, no, the second 7 years of the child, you give the child the free role to do whatever that he wants to do. And you teach the child Quran and Salah. Within the second 7 years, teach your child how to perform Salah. Teach your child how to read Quran. This is what is required of you for your child to be a good child in the near future. Then Prophet said, once you are done with the second 7 years, which is 14 years, then from the third 7 years, your child becomes your friend, your companion. You talk nicely to your child. You respect your child. You say to your child, darling, baby. You talk to your child in such a way that the child feels that yes, you are an integral part of his family. But how many of us do that to our children? A child is 14 that we say he is big. Now we want to talk to the child. Sometimes the way we shout onto the child. The trust that you as a parent are supposed to have on the child, you give that trust away to somebody outside. So that the person will guide and talk to your child and influence your child. Our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he said, when you take your child as a friend and companion, it develops, the courage of the child. It makes the child, whenever there is a problem, you will be the first person the child to consult. Today, how many of us, when our children, they come to the houses, they are angels. But as soon as they go out, they are more than shayateen. They come to the house, they are humble, they even wear hijab nicely. But when they go out there with their peers, they are like they are Pharaoh's, followers. They are like they are Yazid's followers. Why? Because we, the parents, we didn't engage them enough to give them the trust for them to be our companions, so that whenever they have problems or whatever that they will hear out there that is good, the first people to consult is we, the parents. But unfortunately, no, we don't do that. So if the child hears something and he wants to, or she wants to ask the mother and father, the child is afraid because she knows that the mother is going to be shouting and starting, hey, where did you hear this and whatever. So the child keeps it to herself. She goes out there. When she finds her friend, then she will ask. Then when she asks them, what is it that the peers are going to tell her? Definitely they are not going to tell the child exactly what is good. They are going to influence the child with the peer pressure, and then the children will end up going out of it. So our beloved Prophet said, the third of years, if your child becomes your friend and he becomes your companion, then the child knows Allah. The child knows how to perform salat. He said, then the rest you leave the child. Wallahi, the child is going to live upright without any difficulty. When you look at the first 3 subjects in the life of each and every individual, that is what determines the 50s of some person. When you look at the first 3 subjects in the life of everybody, that is what determines whoever you are going to be in the near future. If the first 7 goes like this, there is no doubt that the 50s and the 60s is going to follow suit. If the first 3 7 goes like that, the same way, the 50s and 60s definitely will follow suit. So my respected brothers and sisters, I am telling you, there is nothing that we have which is more cherished than our children. There is no investment. Neither is there any property in our life more than our children that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. So if we are going to give our children second preference, we would like to do our own things because we want good things, but we don't care about the life of our children, then we need to expect that in the near future, like as Quran said, that they should talk to us nicely, it will get to a point where it's going to be difficult for them to do. But when we are able to observe this carefully in our children, it's a guarantee that our children are going to live uprightly, and our children are going to be the leaders of our community. Our children are going to, excel and exceed the positions that we were once in. So I am urging you, my respected brothers and sisters, if we want good community and society, the time for it is now. If indeed we want to have good family structure, let's observe the teachings of Allah. More especially when it comes to our work. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said that a female child is a wealth and shrine in the family. A female child. Yes, a male child is a blessing, but a female child is a wealth in the family. When you have a female child, she is a wealth. She is something that is so significant in the family. Today, first of all, we the men, we prefer men, we don't like female children. Secondly, we the parents, whenever we have female children, the attention and then the care to our female children, we don't do it as required and as prescribed by our beloved children. That is why today, when we look at our female children, it is easy for them to be influenced by other, things out there. Meanwhile, when we talk about female children, As our beloved Prophet mentioned, a female child is so significant in such a way that we as the parents, our attention on female children is required more than even the male children. Because our beloved Prophet said, when you talk of a woman is an institution of herself. When you are able to bring a woman in a perfect manner, it's like you brought up the entire community in a perfect manner. That is why even when you look at it practically, a woman will never at any point in time to forsake her child. A man can have a child today and he doesn't get to see the child after 20 years, no problem. But a woman, it's very difficult for a woman to separate from her child even for 1 month. Unless under extreme circumstances that you will find a mother neglecting her child, whether a woman, a girl or a boy. But women, you see, once we get married, now our second qibla is our women. Now our mothers and fathers, the attention that is required for us to give it to them is no more there. Now sometimes some of us even we become robots now. It is our women who tell us what to do and to go ahead. When they tell us jump, then we ask how high. When they tell us do this, we obey it before we complain. But look at the woman. While she is in your house, and then she is giving you all these commands, she still thinks about her mother and father. She still thinks about her brothers and sisters. She still sees to it that her mothers and fathers are okay. That is how it's so important to take care of a woman. Our beloved Prophet said, once you leave a woman to take up her role, the same woman will go, and once she goes on to wrong path, she will come back and destroy the entire society. Whatever that a man can do, it is said a woman can do it as well. And there is no doubt about that. The hadith of the Prophet confirms. But I'm not talking about equality in this sense. I'm talking about equity. Equity in the sense that when a man wants to be so good to mankind, if a woman is going to be good, she will be better than that. The same way, if a man wants to be so wicked, if a woman is going to be wicked, she will be better than a man. So women are so delicate that we need to give, very significance to how we upbring them. The way we bring our children, especially women, is so important. Because look, today when you look at the world, today the world is being shifted from men power to women power. When you look at the entire world today, the world is being shifted. The power, the roles that a man is supposed to be doing today is given to women. That is why today you need to see some of our women. When you talk of marriage, they say, no, me marriage, stop, don't talk about marriage. They don't even want to hear marriage. So why should I marry? I have my big house. I have my big car. I work and I earn a lot of salary. I made jiga, I have 3 children. Why should I marry? For a man to come and threaten me, why should I marry? A woman doesn't, she doesn't feel it. Why? It's because of the neglection of women, more especially the people. So, respected brothers and sisters, today we are looking forward that in the next 20 years, our children are going to be the future leaders. Let's observe these teachings of the Prophet very carefully. Please, to my mother, don't give second preferences to your children. Don't leave your children at the age of 2 months, 3 months, we give them to some people and we go out there to say we are going to work. Our beloved Prophet doesn't encourage us to do those things. Because as soon as we start doing those things, we are crippling the future of our children. The same way, whenever we breastfeed our children, please let's try that we make wudu. And Prophet said we shouldn't breastfeed our children while we are angry. Prophet said we shouldn't be angry while we are in bed with our husband. All these things goes a long way in our children. Some of us, before we sleep, on the same bed. We will be fighting and we sleep with anger while we are in the same bed. Imagine if a child is going to be created out of that particular night. What will be the status of the child? The child will come in the community to invite everybody. Prophet advises, let's try at all costs to see to it that we are with our couples while we are in. The same way, whenever we want to breastfeed our children, let's try our best. Let's make wudu. Let's be clean to give breast to our children. The same way, let's try to read Quran. If we can read, let's play Quran while we are breastfeeding our children. The second sabr, as soon as your child gets 7 years, try teaching the child Salah. Try teaching the child how to recite Quran. Don't wait up until the child is adult like some of us we say. It's wrong. Prophet said, start teaching your children at the age of 7. Try to teach them how to perform Salah. How do you teach a child? You go and then go, hey! No. Whenever you want to perform Salah, you call the child. Even some children you don't need to call them. If you can create that balance, that love and connection between you and the child, when you perform Salah, the child will come and then be performing the Salah. How many of you will find your child in 2 years? When you make Allahu Akbar, the child will come and then go. Why? The child sees you as a role model. The connection, the love and compassion between you and the child is so strong so that the child follows you when you perform Salah. But here you are, sometimes men, we don't have time. We only come home 6 o'clock, we wake up early in the morning, we are gone. Even if you look at the face of the child, you say, oh my baby, I love you. No. We don't have that. When the woman says, no, that is your responsibility. We have to go and break money. Money for who? Is there anything that you have which is better than your child? Is there anything that is dear to you that Allah has bestowed upon you more than your child? The way we have time for our work, we need to have time for our children. Let's have time for our children. Let's have good rapport and association with our children. Let's see to it that always we are so close to our children. When we do that, then definitely in the near future we are going to have good children in our community and society. Inshallah. So may Allah make it easy for us. Inshallah. May Allah help us to be able to have good children in our community and society. Inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى وأجل فرجهم والآن أعداءهم من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وأوصي أراضين مرضيين بأفضل صلواتك وبارك عليهم بأفضل بركاتك والسلام عليهم وعلى أرواحهم وأجسادهم ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وفاطمة الزهرة سيدة النساء العالمين وعلي بن أبي طالب عليه آلاف التحية والسلام والحسن والحسين سيدي شباب أهل الجنة وعلي بن حسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي ومحمد بن الحسن القائم المنتظر المهدي صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. In our second khutbah, I first advise myself and my respected brothers and sisters to understand that we need to, at all points in time, to abide by the teachings and commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, today when we look at the world and then the divisions and all the problems that we have, all is because we fail to adhere to the teachings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. More especially when it comes to how we bring up our children. You know, respected brothers and sisters, there is no better way to bring a child That is outlined more than that of the teachings of our beloved Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Look, few years ago, when we look at all these lives that we are learning from the West, you know, it's like everything from the West is the best. Few years ago, as an African, we knew that a mother always must be with the child. Even we the young ones, when we grew up, we knew that the responsibility of our mothers is to see to it that whatever that we need, they breastfeed us for 24 months. They don't say no because they are going to work over there. And it used to be a priority. But today it has turned 90 degrees. Today when a woman breastfeeds her child for 24 months, it's like, you know, she doesn't have a place to go. It's like she's wasting time. People start to look at her in a certain different way. To say, look at her. Why do you have to stay for 24 months, you know, since from the time you were pregnant up until the child was born for 24 months, breastfeeding your child? Why don't you have something to do? Today we haven't even graduated whereby we buy milk from, you know, pick and pays and checkers, where some of these milk are made up of the milk of animals. And they will be telling us there is a vitamin so and so, there is a vitamin so and so, that when a child drinks those milk, the child is going to be healthy. So do those people clever more than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Why did Allah ask us to breastfeed our children? And why did not we breastfeed our children with the breast milk of a human being? And we end up breastfeeding our children with breast milk of animals. So what do we expect in the near future? Today when we look at the world, the problems that we are facing day in, day out, is because we fail woefully to adhere to the teachings of Allah. Today you find out that we the children, we don't respect the parents. Why is it so? Because our parents also contributed to the way we behave. Today you realize that we the mothers, we don't even have time, especially the fathers. We don't have time for our children. Today, as soon as the child is 18, the child says, no, now I'm big enough. Whatever decision the child takes, the mother and father, they don't have a word to say, no, don't do this or do that. No, I'm big enough. I'm an adult. Now I'm big. I have to do what is right for me. But look at the nature. When they go and it's past 5, they come back to. More especially when it comes to our words. You know, look at this. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave our beloved Prophet Kwa-Thema, Allah said, we've given you an ocean. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. We've given you something that is significant. They say each and every woman follows. If you have a girl child in your family, you've been given something that is so significant. It's up to you to see to it that you follow these 3 steps. Please, my respected brothers and sisters, your relationships with your children must be very strong. It must be intimate. Your children must be your friend. Your children must be your companion. Your child must be someone that you listen to. Our beloved Prophet said, when your child is about to talk to you, sit down and then listen to what the child is talking to you. Whenever the child is talking to you, let the child know that you paid attention to the child, even if the child is 1 year old. That is how you build the bond between you and your child. Don't undermine the opinions of the child. Don't always try to impose, to say, I want you to do this and you have to do it to the child. When you start doing that, then you are not trying to build up a good family in the near future. So please, I'm begging you, whatever that you are looking for, if you are not going to give more attention to our children, I am telling you it's a waste of time. There's nothing that we have. There's nothing that Allah has bestowed upon us, which is more than What is the use when we dress nicely? We live in big mansions and our children are out of the world. What is it? What is it? What is the contribution that we contributed to the world? We contributed children who are going to represent us in the near future. Or we contributed children where people will be saying, we wish we never had this child in our community. So please, 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 I'm begging you, let's have time for our children. In our timetable, when we go to work, the days that we don't go to work, more especially men, weekends, please, let's have time for our children. When we come from, let's make sure that we come home before our children sleep. And if it is possible, let's wait for them to wake up before we go to work. Always it shouldn't be, where is my father? He's gone. Where is my father? He's sleeping. Where is my father? He just came in now and he's sleeping. No, that one is not good. When we do that, we are breaching, that teaching of our beloved prophet. We are trying to destroy, and it's going to go a long way to affect our children. Because look at the world today. Today, even fathers, we don't have strength. We couldn't build that courage and that trust between us and our children. So even if our children, they go out with certain careers that are not good, it becomes difficult for us to tell them to stop. Today you find as Muslims, our children, they are models. They are the ones who sing, openly, and then you see them on TV, they say, and then we are even proud of them. Simply because of money, because of material. So please, respected brothers and sisters, let's take good care of our children, more especially our girl child. Let's take very good care of our girl child. Because if we don't do that, I am telling you, it's going to backfire strongly in our community, and then we are going to be failures. Because today, enemies of humanity, they know how to play their cards. As Prophet told us to take care of our children in these three, sequence that I've mentioned. They have their own way of taking, the child. They steal the child from you. And then they give the child that freedom. And they give the child that trust. And when they give the child that trust, instead of the child to come and consult the parents, the child instead goes there to consult them. Like today in our country, South Africa. When you are not careful, you shout on your child, the child can easily call the police to come to your house. And when the police come to your house now, you as the father that is in charge, you are no more in charge. Where is the child? Look at our women today. Today, enemies of humanity, if they want to achieve a position, they want to achieve something, the status. Like as I mentioned some time ago, idols are no more into trees and stones, they are into humanity. Previously, one talk of idols. Idols used to be, they carve a tree or something like that. No, today it's not like that. Today, idols, they sit, they walk, they eat. They call them the icons, the role models. You hear the other and say, hey, this person, mashallah. Everybody wants to take advice from that person. They say, go and check Oprah Winfrey. She has, magazines. She talks about how to, mashallah. Now the Quran is Oprah Winfrey. Somebody who doesn't have a husband. She doesn't have a child. She becomes the role model to us and our wife. Subhanallah. Where is Prophet? Where is Ahl al-Bayt? Why is it that somebody like that becomes the role model for? I'm not saying what she says is not good. But why should we leave what we have and to go and fetch from Oprah Winfrey? Today, people are in the status of idols. Today, Illuminati, if they want you to become an icon, they know how they will play around. They give you degrees. They make you to become like the group of sushi. And now they mention your name. Hey, you know this one? Everybody knows it. Hey, you know this one? Everybody knows it. The person becomes a symbol to our children. When the children, they see the person in a certain dress code on TV, the next day you find our sisters, they are wearing the same and they buy the same for our children. So where are we heading towards? So please, I'm begging you, There is no better teaching elsewhere more than what we have. Prophet, Allah said, the best example for us is the Prophet. So why can't we emulate the teachings of the Prophet? So please, I'm begging you, our children. We shouldn't cry poverty, and because of that we neglect our children. When we cry poverty and we neglect our children, the poverty is going to be more. There is no work like children. So yes, even though we don't have, but do we need to pay money to show our children love? Do we need to pay money to show our children, that to bring up strong bond between us and our children? We don't need money to do all this. Yes, we might need money to take them to the university, and unfortunately we don't have. So should that break us apart so that we allow our children to be influenced by others out there? That is completely suicidal. So I'm pleading with you, please, let's give more time to our children. More especially our girls, our female children. Let's give them more time. Let's associate with them. Let's build up a strong bond so that whatever that they hear out there, they will come to us to find out what is the right thing in those things that they hear. But if we lose that trust, people out there, television in our houses will control our children for us. So please, this is so serious and it's so dear to my heart. That is why I am begging you and I'm pleading with you, mothers and fathers, please, your children. So we ask Allah to make it easy for us, inshallah, so that our children will grow and then become responsible children in the community, inshallah. We ask subhanahu wa ta'ala, whatever difficulties that it takes for us to lose the grasp of our children, may Allah ease it for us, inshallah. صلوات على محمد وآل محمد.
اللهم صل
السلام عليك يا رسول الله، السلام عليك يا نبي الله، السلام عليك يا خير خلق الله ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم يا أهل بيت النبوة وموضع الرسالة ومختلف الملائكة ومحبة الوعي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء سلطان أبا الحسن علي بن مطربة، كن شفيعنا وشفيع والدينا في يوم الجزاء. السلام عليك وعلى أختك فاطمة معصومة ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب العصر والزمان، على من فتنة الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن، السلام عليك يا إمام الإنس والجان. السلام عليك يا مظهر الإيمان، السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. أجل الله تعالى فرجاك وسهل الله مخرجك وذكورك، وجعلنا الله من أعوانك وأنصارك والمستشهدين بين يديك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلي محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وعلي محمد.